I think that even if now in the real world where we've seen the zombie apocalypse so many times in TV and in movies, a real life zombie virus thing broke out, it would still have taken me longer to adjust to the fact that the dead are actually walking around. Then again, that might be the reason why I would get eaten in the street in like episode 1. Kidding, of course. I don't go outside. Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 1 of Fear the Walking Dead. So before we get to the actual review, I just want to mention that we're going to be doing another Binge Watchers Q&A, so if you have any question for me about TV shows or about anything else, please leave those questions in the comments down below with the hashtag BWQA. You can find the link to the previous Q&A that we did right here, and without further ado, let's do this. So Fear the Walking Dead is a kind of prequel to The Walking Dead, a prequel in the fact that it happens earlier in the timeline and chronicles the very beginning of the zombie apocalypse. But this season at least doesn't really have anything to do with the main show. Just like the first season of The Walking Dead, this season of Fear the Walking Dead is only 6 episodes long. And while 6 episodes was enough in the case of The Walking Dead to introduce us to the world, to the premise of the show, and to the characters, I don't feel it was enough for what they were going for here in Fear the Walking Dead. This show kind of starts out with the odds stacked against it because, after all, it's another piece of fiction about the zombie apocalypse. And now, we've seen zombies a lot. We absolutely love zombies, but this show had to work really hard to make sure that it's not just The Walking Dead with a different cast, which by the end of the season, I felt that it kind of was. The show looks great, they do a really good job with introducing the characters and exploring their motivations and building tension whenever they need to, but personally I kind of hope for something a little bit different from this show. While I'm not saying that The Walking Dead is the greatest show of all time, at all, I always liked how it focused on the survivors, and the zombie apocalypse and everything that was going on was kind of just the setting or the background, but the show is more about the people. The fact that it can go on for like 7 episodes without anything actually happening is another matter. The selling point for Fear the Walking Dead was that you get to see how it all started, how civilization collapsed. And you do sort of get to see that, but you get to see that in the same way it's done in The Walking Dead. Everything kind of happens in the background, it's just the setting, and the show focuses more on the survivors. In one episode, people are rioting in the streets and zombies are just kind of popping up in places. In the next episodes, everything is pretty much dead. I feel that if they had the option to make this like 8 or 10 episodes long, we would actually get the chance to see society slowly break down and completely collapse. Maybe if one of the characters was the president or a mayor or anyone in the position of power and we could kind of see that side of things, maybe it would have been more interesting and more unique. So personally, I really like the first half of the season where everything is still alive and they're just kind of figuring out what's happening and maybe they're beginning to understand what's about to happen, but somewhere in the middle the show kind of takes a turn and I felt that at least some of the characters got very well adjusted to everything that's going on way too quickly, almost as if they had watched The Walking Dead. Meta. Also, right from the get-go, you're able to spot the different personas that you get in a group of survivors in the zombie apocalypse. The one that has moral issues, and the one who does what needs to get done, and the one who is an extreme survivalist, but also kind of a dick about it. I'm not saying these personas are wrong. They're probably spot on. It's probably the way that people would actually act once they have embraced that this is how things are now. But that's probably also the reason we've seen it so many times. I was kind of hoping to get a different version of the group of survivors in the zombie apocalypse. And I also wish that they focused more on society actually breaking down than on the relationship between the characters. I mean, the acting is good and the characters are good, but that's sort of The Walking Dead's thing, exploring the relationship between the characters and the effects that the zombie apocalypse has on the relationship between those characters. I don't feel the need to see that again. Bottom line, should you watch it? Well, if you're a fan of the main show, you've probably already watched it. The show is very well made, it looks great, the acting is good, there are some powerful character moments. I just didn't feel that it delivered anything new. Because by the end of the season, you can pretty much lose the word fear and it's The Walking Dead. If you're a fan of the main show or just generally a fan of the genre, it's only 6 episodes long and it's not boring, it's perfectly fine. Kinda like The Walking Dead. But if you're not a fan of The Walking Dead or you're looking for something a little bit different like I personally was, then I don't think you're gonna be missing out on a whole lot by skipping this one. But all of that is just my opinion. I know that a lot of you have already watched Fear the Walking Dead, and I want to know what you thought about it. So take those thoughts and put them in the comments down below along with those questions for the Q&A. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, it really helps out a lot. And if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome! I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community, where we're talking about TV every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with opinions and reviews and sketches and all kinds of great stuff. All for you fellow binge watchers and TV lovers. So you can go ahead and click on that big subscribe button in order to join in on the fun, or you can check out any of the other videos on the channel. In any case, keep binging, and I'll see you next time.